Hi, this is Mr. Grand Duchess Rasmus Kernan. After prayer and so forth today and meditation and so forth, I wrote some quotation. I wrote it all in conjunction with my experience with the army and my family. A peaceful person always wash their hands and leave people in peace. But remember, it's people that can't forgive. The guilty conscience never let innocence go because they can't resolve themselves or find peace within themselves in order to let this thing go. Because remember, they are the hierarchy, they are the structure, they are the Pharisees of our day. And I wrote this quotation. It says, "Love hates not; it sends away in peace. Evil hates and seeks love, and say it's obscene, unsocial to ease and please." And in that sense, love hates. You had people that did you evil and they're related to you. Wash your hands and leave them. I left them everything. Whatever they stole from me in money and so forth, they kept it. Whatever lies and deception, they kept it. I asked for nothing. And therefore, I wash my hands. Just like the military, I wash my hands of nursing, the Army Nurse Corps. Going back to the family. When I was growing up, people said my mother was good and my father was evil. When my father died, and when I needed help, and I suffered the assault and the abuse and the harassment, and almost died in the army after a spotless record, it was the dead father who came back as a spirit to rescue, and the mother, the good mother, who sat back and said, they didn't give a damn. And so therefore you have to wonder which one is evil and which one is good, and where is love. And so therefore things solidify, survival solidifies the reality of love and brings it to life if you truly believe. I've always said since I was a child, words. I believed in words. My word was word. They always asked me for the truth. It's so ironic growing up. My mother was the same one who said, I want to know the truth about your sister, brother, and whatever. The fear of lying, I had to say it. I was hated by them growing up. But I had to speak the truth, cause it what it will. But if you understand what life really is, you see, my word gave me the will to survive. Because I believed in the word, and whatever word was spoken to me, or spirituality, all that, I believed in it. So it gave me the passion and the will of love to survive. And look where it got them. Alone, love comforts the fabric of it. Everything that is past will come to present. I wrote another quotation. It says here, where is it? I wanted to read the other quotation. Let me get to it. First, people. Yeah. And so therefore, even with the Army Nurse Corps, everything that I suffered, I could not justify, they did not justify themselves. I see physicians and doctors taking the integrity of the institution over the integrity of their practice, which is so, it was so frightening to me. Frightening because you took an oath to the practice, not an oath to lying, an oath to protect human life. And then maybe in that sense, that's why I almost died at their hands. Because they protected the integrity, how I was assaulted, abused, and so forth, and drugged. They protected the integrity of the institution, rather the integrity of their practice. So much so that when I went out to a Korean hospital, for them to say, what's going on? They said, what are all these things in your blood? You need to take this to counteract that. Not Brian Allgood Medical Center, Youngsang, and so forth. I wrote another thing about love, and that I wanted to read also as part of this video. The tout side, which is all the people with power, hides the turmoil and foil of guilt of loss, saddled, sly. The tout side is the side that has all the power. The person that can't rectify, the institution that can't justify the evil that it did. We're always warned about terrorism, and until I went into the army and all of this happened to me, I realized that we are living in the fear of the government. So the terrorist is the government itself. I mean, some of it, to some extent. When I was traveling and I left Youngsang, various people came up to me, a couple people, and said, you know what, you don't need to come back to the United States because we heard this one, and if that's not the truth, I've observed you, that's not the truth. You don't need to be there, you would be killed. I almost was killed on Route 50 by Mr. Brian Jeffrey Laird and left for dead. That's an ambulance call to this day. So when I said the tout side hides the turmoil and foil of guilt, the lost saddled sly. The tout side is everybody that has the power, did the dirt and the damage, and seek to hide it. And I said, outside, the inside, I change in I and I peace. I change mine from their deceit and stabilize, and rise the truth, the strength in I and I. Rise alone, love comforts the lonely, because there I go and I walk alone. And so I begin to wonder, you may not understand the ramification of it, but let's say if your child suffered at the hands of an institution greater than itself, let's say the army, and they said your child was X, Y, and Z, what credibility would you have of a parent to say my child isn't? Would you be brave enough? Could you lose your job and your life and your house to defend your child? A child that has been done everything you have asked it to do and never once had a misstep. And so therefore I realize, people, we live in a paranoid society where the government tells us this person is a terrorist. That's what, but the government itself is a terrorist. I suffered at their end, and I know they terrorized me unnecessarily. And so therefore, if I have no affinity for Barack Obama and his institution and so forth, please, because I still regard them as criminals and some members of his administrators as criminals and so forth and so forth. And I make no, I'm not saying this to be superficial or fantastic and so forth. The reality is it is what it is, whether they want to face it or not. I have to stand up for myself as a right, as a human being to live. And he did his best to fast track gay rights, to hide some of the criminal things that they have done. And one of the things that another thing I wrote today, I said, love saved me. The fabric of the divine defined and saved me. When I was growing up, we went to church and we listened to the Bible and so forth and so forth. But here I wrote this. I never believed in dying. Superficial, but listen. I heard a man suffer death on a cross. I never saw or believed it, but being lived in a God of beget, so he lives still glorious yet, that whoever dies by the evilry live the light of him yet. And so therefore, I never believed in dying. Yes, death will come, but what kind of death? Not by the hands of men. If you believe in eternal life, then you will achieve its goal. This is me, the Grand Duchess Rasmus Conan. Have a good day.